move on to our inside series, man. This week we're gonna pivot to the AFC. We just finished the NFC last week on the AFC, and we're gonna go into, my opinion, best division in football. That is the AFC North, which is home to the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, they are also going to be the focus of the third Hard Knocks this year. Just wrapped up the offseason Hard Knocks with the New York Giants. I thought was very entertaining. I think that, you know how they always say that teams don't want to do the regular Hard Knocks? I think you're going to get a lot of front offices who ain't going to want nothing to do with the offseason Hard Knocks. In fact, would not shock me if this first and last offseason Hard Knocks, because we just saw how bad the nigga was at his job in real time on there. And of course, the original OG Hard Knocks, the Bears will be doing that, kicking off on Wednesday. But for the second time, for the third year in a row, we got the in-season Hard Knocks. This time, they're going to be focusing on a full division. 2 years ago, it was the Indianapolis Colts. Last year, it was the Miami Dolphins. This year, they're doing on the entire AFC North. First time they're doing full divisions. Too many black QBs in the division for Scott's liking. First of all, I'm going to say what Stephen A. Smith said. You ain't even black. Let's move on. This is something where it's going to be fun to see the entire division mid-season in a division that I personally think is going to go down to the wire. So let's start with the first team. That is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens last year went to the AFC Championship game. Lamar Jackson won a second MVP. They went 13-4. Ended up losing to the eventual two-time Super Bowl champion, well, actually three-time Super Bowl champion, but repeat Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. They had a great year. I think coming into this year, it's kind of what we said about the 49ers a little bit. Like, look, we all know that Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. He has 2 MVPs now. Last year they lost primarily because I felt like Lamar and Greg Roman were trying to prove it to people like me that he can throw his way into a victory. Instead of, I mean, look, I'm gonna stand on it forever until that nigga proves me wrong and he beats people in the playoffs with his arm. I'm gonna keep saying it. So y'all can say what y'all want to say. Until I'm wrong, I'm standing on that. So he tried to prove it to me and all the other detractors last year, and it didn't work. He do that little wobbly ass pass in the end zone and got picked off by L'Jarius Sneed. They got to go out there. Now they've got Derrick Henry, got another year of Roquan Smith over there. And they just signed Eddie Jackson. I love Bo Jack. That's my guy. He's not bringing anything. I don't even think he's going to stay healthy for the entire year. But it's put up a shut up time for them. When are they going to actually step up and make it to the Super Bowl? And I think that's all the spotlight on them this year. They need to finally do that. Like, Sean Harbaugh has been there for an entirely long time. I think he's either the second longest tenured coach in the NFL right now. Outside Mike Tomlin, it's put up a shut up time for them, man. I do think that Derrick Henry adds another great element to them. He's going to help Lamar out, but it's going to come down to, can they actually make it to the big game? That's all this season about is for me for the Baltimore Ravens. Courtney, what do you think about the Ravens' outlook heading into this season?
I kind of hold the Ravens in the same regard as I do the Cowboys now. Like, until you do it, I'm just like, I'm not in. Like, I'm starting to get flashes of like, it's our year, and then like you get into the playoffs and you embarrass me, you know. So I don't really know. That division's tough, and they've got a really tricky schedule too. There's a lot of teams in that division. I'd say the Bengals probably have the easiest schedule out of all the teams in that division. So yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably win about 10 or 11 games this season, which I think will be enough for them to win this division. But other than that, I don't think that they're going to win this year.
Do you think they go farther than they did last year? Which means they have to go to the Super Bowl, so I guess no.
No. I don't think so. And that's no shade to Lamar at all. I like Lamar. I like the Ravens. I'm not buying into it this year, unfortunately.
Dante, what you think about the outlook for the defending AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I hold them in the same regard as the 49ers. You got to show me something. We know the talent is there. We know they have the quarterback. It's just a matter of, is that quarterback going to finally come through in that big moment? Lamar's definitely has the skill set. I know his stomach has been fucking with him. He has probably one of the worst immune systems I've ever seen in my life. He's sick like every 2 weeks. But other than that, this is a team that, they've added more pieces. The defense is always solid. Shout out to Roquan getting his money, being a leader over there. Bringing Bojack. Hopefully Bojack can stay healthy because he still, is a solid safety in the league. But I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to that offense and what Lamar Jackson does in the playoffs. So I expect them to win this division again, but I think it's a matter of when you get into those big games, when you get into those games against, Kansas City, against Buffalo, how is Lamar going to react? How is that team going to react? So that's what it really comes down to. It's a team where there's really not much room for leeway with them. It's like, all right, are we going to the Super Bowl or are we doing the same shit we did last season?
Dang, man, what you think about the Ravens' outlook for this campaign? And you on mute, dog.
Oh man, I'll send the cash app. Nah, man, I'm with Courtney. I believe it when I see it. The team is good enough to be a dominant team, but it's always something. So I'm at a point now where we need to see it. We need to see something from Harbaugh. Um, Lamar Jackson be having me worried and shit about his health. He lost all that weight. And then now you sick. Not saying anything is, I think anything, not trying to speculate. I'm just saying like, yo, it just be having me worried because this seems to happens a lot. Um, the running back position, is Derrick Henry still Derrick Henry? Is the wide receiver position still like shored up? Y'all got 50 tight ends though, so that's straight. Offensive line is always, strong. You just lost your defensive coordinator. So how's your defense gonna look? They got questions. I think they can overcome them, but at the same time, I gotta believe it when I see it.
Yes, sir. Let's move on to the next team. Their quarterback is a nigga who should be in prison and not on the football field.
Yeah,
That
we
is
freaky
the
Sean.
Freaky Sean. That is somebody. Yo, shout out my guy Amp from Random Acts Podcast. He put a picture of Deshaun. He said, "Damn, this nigga even starting to look like R. Kelly." But Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, man, they finished 11-6 last year. Deshaun got hurt like mid-year. Joe Flacco took over and he kind of had like a second career renaissance, had a real good in the second half of the year and got into the playoffs. We got absolutely smoked by CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans in Houston in that wild card game. But even the game that Sean played, the nigga was looking bad. Like he was not playing well whatsoever. So you got a defense that has been incredible. Myles Garrett is a monster. That defense is just great front to back. All this is on the shoulders of Deshaun Watson, man. This is it's kind of put up a shut up time for him as well. And one thing that I hate this. Like he's telling me, oh, well, I feel good because I'm finally past all the bullshit. Like he didn't bring this on himself.
Correct.
Come on, dog. Like you're the freak nigga who put this on himself. You ain't got nobody to blame but you, dog. Anybody trying to hear all that? So I said, if you're gonna be a freak, at least be good on the field. At the bare minimum, be good on the field. If you're gonna be a diabolical human being, at least be good at what you are on the field. He has not been that since he has been a Cleveland Brown, and this year you got to see it because I feel like that general manager that they have over there in Cleveland did a good job of putting this roster together. I think Kevin Stefanski is one of the best coaches in football. He does a good job. It's all about whether or not Deshaun Watson has anything left in the football tank for me to see because the AFC is getting tougher now. You just got knocked out by a rookie quarterback and a team that ain't been to the playoffs in a minute. So they got a lot to prove as well, and you don't want to waste. Take this from a Bears fan. You do not want to waste a great defensive player like Myles Garrett, a generational defensive player like Myles Garrett, and as good as that defense is, they've got to take advantage of that. And it's all going to come down to what we just said about Lamar. Can Deshaun make the throws? Courtney, what's your outlook for the Browns this season?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know how I feel about Deshaun Watson. I don't have too much to add. But if I'm trying to be, I guess completely honest, I've watched that man play 12 football games over the past 3 seasons. So I don't know why we're all so set on him coming back and like being this fantastic quarterback. I think they're going to finish third in the division, and that's only because the Steelers have such a tough schedule. However, and I know we're not talking about the Steelers yet, I don't like to bet against Mike Tomlin finishing the schedule above 500 or finishing the season above 500. So, yeah, I don't. Fuck Deshaun Watson. That's really all I got.
Yeah, I mean that's really all we gotta say is fuck Deshaun Watson.
And honestly, beyond that, like again, if I'm getting down to the nitty gritty, real football shit, that team defensively obviously incredibly talented, but like offensively, is Nick Chubb? When is he going to be playing again? Like there's a lot of question marks on the offense for me beyond the fan that they have at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I think Nick Chubb just started practicing. Yeah, I think he just started like getting. You're not gonna expect a lot from him. They said they're hoping to get him back on the field soon. So yeah, even if he does play, it's gonna take a minute, if at all, he gets back to the guy he used to be. Bang, what you think about the Cleveland Browns and Freaky Sean?
I am. If Joe Flacco can lead this team at the end of the season, we should be able to get that from Deshaun Watson. But we haven't been able to get that.
See, I disagree with that though. Joe Flacco's not a bad quarterback.
I mean, Deshaun Watson's not a bad quarterback.
He's old.
Deshaun Watson's not a bad quarterback.
Only a few guys in the NFL had a lower success rate when they were pressured than Deshaun Watson. Tommy DeVito, Trevor Siemian, and Daniel Jones and Bryce Young. That's fucking terrible. That's terrible company to be in.
And I think the issue with Deshaun Watson that is a lot of stuff in his head. I think he had to clear it out. Even he said it. I think he got the
he got the Green Goblin masseuse mask in the corner.
Fam. Okay. I'll just say it like this.
It was right there at the basket. I had to take it.
I'll just say it like this.
Use the towel.
I just say it like this. It's something, and it might sound bad, but I am gonna say it. There's some people that operate in filth and be successful. And when you take that away from them, they don't have that. I'm going to put Deshaun Watson in that category. And I'm not even joking. There's something that I learned about people who ain't shit. People who ain't shit and successful are successful because they ain't shit. And when you take that away from them, they become lesser than what they are. Deshaun Watson, if everything is true what happened, is an ain't shit ass person. And he got that shit taken away from him, and he ain't been shit ever since. He probably needs that to be successful. And when you take that away, what you gonna do? And that's why he comes out and say there's a lot of things that was in my head for a past year. No, fam, you wasn't able to do the shit that you was able to do and get away with and come off on the field the way that you do. Nah. So it would shock me and surprise. But the thing is with that offense, that offensive line, that defense, he ain't got to be a top flight. He could be less than Deshaun Watson and win. The issue is if Kevin Stefanski is going to dumb the offense down and say, hey, we don't need you to go out there and be Deshaun Watson with the Texans. We just need you to play and be successful here and not try to play hero ball. You go and try to be what you was with the Texans, the shit's going to fail because your ass was out here getting rubbed on and doing nasty shit and being a freak man. Can't be a freak man.
Dante, man, what's your take on the 2024 Cleveland Browns?
No, I'll keep it brief. I think Courtney really hit the nail on the head. It's like over the past 3 years, what you've seen from Deshaun Watson has not been a good quarterback, flat out, whatever the reason may be. He hasn't been good. If he's not going to be good, this team isn't going anywhere. So I think, we've seen too much bad football to sit here and say he's going to just snap out of it and be ready to go. So I think this is a team. They were 11-6 last year. Joe Flacco went on an amazing heater, which was, partially sparked by the Bears dropping the defensive end in the coverage on 3rd and long, but that's neither here nor there. I think this team is going to finish.
Well, We ain't got to get picks yet. We gonna do that. We gonna get that close to the end of the season. But
oh, okay. Well, they're gonna be terrible. Just give a little hint. They're gonna be bad.
We'll give our records on our NFL preview episode. You know, so you said they'll be trash.
That paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.